Hello, welcome to the tutorial for LINK, the Language Integration Network Kit. So LINK is an app developed by CONTAGIO and ISARIC to verify machine translations for their ARC database of CRF questions. So when we get started, you can find it at link-mgea.vercel.app. That is its temporary test location. We'll have a new one once it is launched. To get started, click after going to link-mgea.vercel.app, click Create Account and enter your name. I'll do that now. I'm going to generate a password. Perfect. And now, after putting your name, your email, make sure you verify that this is the exact email because you will not be sent a verification request. Go choose your language. I'm going to do French for this, but I don't really fit either, but choose anything as long as you are a native speaker or fluent, with bilingual proficiency, fluency, and also in English as well, because it will be translating things from English into the other language. Profession, select here if you are a clinical staff, a disease or clinical researcher, a translator, or a survey questionnaire expert. I am none of these, so I'm going to click Other, and then simply do Create Account. I'm going to perfect. Save the password because I generated one, and it logs you right in. No password authentication, and here we go. So hopefully it doesn't take. There we go. It should always start you out with 1. I have it right now that it starts people out on dengue, but yeah, let's talk about this. So Link has a message here on how it works. It's just 2 steps, a translation and a review. So there are all of these segments, phrases, words, things like that, and they need to be translated from English into French or whatever language you chose, and then reviewed, those translations. So they're actually translated once by AI, so we have a machine translation, and a second time by whatever human reviewer gets there first, and after that they will be sent to review by them, whoever translated it, and everyone else. So let's talk about these steps. But first is the CRF that you're translating. You can click here to choose whatever form you want. So there's the whole ARC repository, all questions. We could also choose COVID, dengue, H5N1, Mpox, and many other ones. I'd also select the ARC version, but let's stick with dengue, and we can go through in 2 different ways. We can either just go to the next segment, or we can click through. So let's click through, and we can see that dengue only has 1 folder of lists. We click on that folder, next folder of IV fluids, and finally we can see each of these is a form with a little form there, and I could put in the proper translation. I'm going to just continue, and of course it just brings us there. Let's just go to the first one. It is the form label for presentation. I don't speak French, so we're just going to put test for now, and let's do save to see what happens. So when you're doing these translations, make sure that it is perfect. You won't be able to edit it, so make sure you don't have any spelling errors, that your grammar is correct. All editing will be done in the review stage. So once you're happy with it, it goes from unsaved, where you're going to click, it's loading, and it is entered. Now it could be reviewed. This is the machine translation, And here is our translation. But let's just go to the next one with continue. Okay, so here we see the first question on the form, the participant identification number, question, definition, and completion guide. We can fill in translations for each of these. For this first one, I'm going to do some mock translations. Note that we can add a comment. Simply click this little comment button here and write whatever comment you have. Maybe here, maybe where you work, there is something to note that technically you don't tend to call it this. Maybe this is a poor example, but something that could be anything like that. A reason why you have put this. It is not required to put a comment, but sometimes it might be quite useful to explain your translation. Always put explanations there and the exact translation here. Every single translation matters, and they do go on to the actual form. And because I'm putting this first translation, this will be the accepted translation in ARC. And yeah, you are making a difference just by doing that first one. The second one, for the definition, I'm going to skip this and say, hey, I don't know how to do this one. I could put why I skipped it. And finally, let's do one more. Let's just do one more. Oops. And now we can save all three. Saving. And perfect. We can go to review. Here we can see all translations we've pushed and information on them, or the comments that we pushed. So our contextual information about, as if I had a clinical background and as if I spoke French. And here, contextual information for why I skipped. And now we can go to review, and we will see the question in the guide here. They're now ready for review because they've been translated by one person. And we can select which one is correct. So when you're doing the review stage, it's not a selection of which is best, but which is absolutely correct. So let's say that this is definitely much better than test. However, it is missing an accent, or we would actually do des participants instead of du participants, or something very minor. That's the exact kind of thing that we would want to suggest here. I'm going to copy it and paste it. Get rid of that little space, and we'll just pretend that it is de, or I see they do this little thing. I don't think that is correct, but that's okay, because there will be a next reviewer to do that. And here, I will select this one. So what will happen from here is this will be pushed up as one more forward translation for others to review, and this one I am voting on. So which ones will actually be seen in ARC? Which ones will be finally pushed? Which ones are accepted? We don't show the score, quote unquote, of these to not bias results. However, I can tell you now that how it works is that test will be the one that is pushed up because that was the first one done by a human. Is the first one done by a human, and nothing has voted another one higher. However, on this one, because I'm doing this has one vote by a human, as me, the reviewer, doing it, and this has one because of the person who pushed it. And this has the second bonus of having the machine translation. So it is whatever one goes into ARC is whichever has the most humans that have voted this is correct, and if there is a tie, then whichever one has the machine translation, and if still there is a tie, it is simply whichever one was first. Okay. And now we can do save, and this time I'm going to do save and continue, and it will save, and just 1 second, it will push. Okay, and now we got to our section label. So we can go back out and see we are now in the section of inclusion criteria. We go back to the form of presentation, and look, we even have a gold star for completing that one. Nice job. There is no need to do one and then instantly review it. It is nice probably to just go through in the order of clicking continue. Note that when you do fill out one of these with the selection option like yes, no, or unknown, after translating it once, that will translate it throughout the entire app, throughout the entire form. Okay, I think that is all. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for helping us translate ARC. We really do appreciate it, all your help and your help in this test phase in our early test. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and happy translating.